Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via YouTube streaming, via Facebook streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Going within. To get out of ego is to come out of deep sleep, to come out of darkness. It is to be awake. To get out of ego is freedom. In that freedom, there is no path. When there is freedom, there is no path. Buddha tells Sariputra, earlier I could not tell you all that I needed to tell you. Now I can tell you. You have understood the basics. Now I can take you to the intricate aspect, much deeper aspect. You were on the surface earlier. Now I can explain to you more. In dreams, in a dream, you are suffering. When you are suffering in a dream, it seems real. This is what happens in life. You feel that you are suffering, you have problem, and this seems to be real. And you are searching, finding the answer, why am I suffering? Why am I having the problem? You come across a saint in the dream, and he tells you you are suffering because you are desiring too much. You are infatuated by money. That is why you are suffering. Drop this desire and suffering will disappear. Drop this desire and suffering will disappear. You understand this. It is logical. You know it. You have experimented it yourself. And whenever you desire, suffering comes. The more desire is there, the intense desire is, in the same proportion, the suffering will be there. Greater the desire, bigger will be the suffering. You understand this. Then you ask how to stop it. You ask how to stop it, and the sage tells you to stand up on your head, do yoga, do this, do that. And you become more understanding of your desire, and you will be able to drop the desire. So the sage gives you a eightfold formulated path and says, this is the way. One day, when you will awake, you remember these things, because these have helped you to come out of your sleep, to come out of your slumber. Now, if you stand on your head in a dream, there is a possibility that your dream will be open. Your dream will be broken. Try this. When you are in a dream and you just stand up on your head and suddenly you will be awake. All these methods, whether it is yoga, Kundalini, Osho's meditations, these are simply to awake you. Nothing more is the purpose. They are not to make you enlightened. These are simply to wake you from your deep slumber. And when you are awake, this is what Buddha was waiting for Sariputra to be awake. Each master wakes for you to be awake. And then he says, you don't need me. You are awake. My only purpose was to wake you up from your slumber. Now your path is yours. Buddha says, therefore, O Sariputra, now that Sariputra is awake, he can say that now I can tell you the truth. Before that, he could not tell the truth. The master waits for that opportunity when he can tell the truth to the seeker. Now I can tell you the truth, that nobody exists, neither the disciple nor the master. This is a game. Master-disciple is a game. As long as you are asleep, there is master-disciple distinction. The moment you are awake, there is no master, there is no disciple, there is no dream, no suffering, no sage, no cause, no stopping, there is no path. In one word, there is no path. It is a pathless path. But this can be made only at the highest stage. When you reach the 7th rung of the ladder, that's where the master reveals you the ultimate truth. Sariputra has reached to that rung, to that layer, to that level of the ladder. That's why Buddha says, Sariputra, Tasmat Sariputra. Now I can explain to you what is the absolute truth. Now, before I go into the more, at this stage I will pause to explain certain questions arising. What is the difference between the emptiness of the child, emptiness of the child before ego begins to seep in, and the awakened childlikeness of a Buddha? Buddha is innocence. And his innocence is not childish but childlike. What is the difference between the emptiness? The ego has not blossomed, has not born in a child. And an awakened one has passed through that stage. He is childlike. The childlikeness of a Buddha. The emptiness of a child before ego begins to take shape in a child. And when the balloon has burst, in the childlikeness of an awakened one, there is similarity and there is a difference. Essentially, the child is a Buddha, but his Buddhahood his innocence is natural. It is not earned. His innocence is a kind of ignorance. It is not realization. His innocence is unconscious. He is not aware of it. He is not mindful of it. He has not taken any note of it. It is there, but he is oblivious of it. He is going to lose it, and he has to lose it. Paradise must be lost sooner or later. This is important. That's why John Milton's poem Paradise Lost, he wrote, then at the request of his friend Samson Ignite, something like that, he wrote Paradise Regained. You must lose it and then regain it consciously. Paradise will be lost sooner or later. He is on the way towards it. Every child has to go through corruption, impurity, the world. The innocence of the child is that of Adam before he was expelled from the Garden of Eden, before he tasted the fruit of knowledge, before he became conscious. It is animal-like. Look into the eyes of any animal. A cow, a dog, there is purity, there is innocence. The same purity that exists in the eyes of a Buddha. But there is one difference. This is a similarity, but there is a difference. And the difference is so vast that Buddha has come home. Animal has not yet left home to start his journey. The child is still in the Garden of Eden, is still in paradise. First he will have to lose it, and then he will have to regain it. Buddha had come home. The whole circle is complete. He went away, he was lost, he went astray. He went deep into darkness, sin, misery, and hell. And those experiences that he had were the part of maturity, were the part of growth. Without them, You will not have any backbone. Any moment, if you do not have a backbone, you cannot stand erect. You will be very fragile. Any breeze comes in and you are lost. It is borrowed. You cannot stand against the winds or storms. That is what you would have noticed. You have been meditating. You were reflecting the light of the Master. All of a sudden, a problem comes in. You have fallen flat on the ground. You do not have the answer. You immediately pick up the phone and call the Master. Master, this is the problem. What should I do? You do not have the backbone. It is very weak. It cannot survive. It has to go through the fire of life. 1,001 mistakes committed. 1,001 times you fall and you get back on your feet again. All those experiences slowly and slowly make you mature, make you ripen, and you become grown up. Buddha's innocence is that of a mature person, utterly mature. The child's innocence is unconscious. Childhood is nature. The very nature of the childhood is unconscious. Buddhahood is, the nature of Buddhahood is conscious. Childhood is circumference with no idea of center. Buddhahood means you have discovered your center. Circumference was always there, but now you have discovered your center also. Without the center, circumference has no meaning. Child circumference has no meaning because it has no center. The Buddha is also a circumference, but he is rooted in his center, centered. Child is unconscious, Buddhahood unconscious, anonymity. Buddhahood is conscious anonymity. Both are nameless, formless, yet the child has not known the form yet and the misery of it. It is like you have never been in the prison, so you do not know what freedom is. Then you have been in the prison for many years, prison of life, or many lives. Then one day you are released, you attain to freedom. You come out of the prison door dancing, singing, ecstatic, and you will be surprised that the people are already out, who are outside, walking on the street, going to their work, to the office, to different places, but are not really enjoying the freedom. You enjoy the freedom only when you come out of the prison of life. They are oblivious. They do not know that what does freedom means. How can they know? Because they have not been in the prison. They do not know the contrast. The background is missing. It is as if you write with a white pen on the white wall. Nobody will ever be able to read what is written. In order to understand what is written, there need to be a contrast. I have heard an anecdote about Mullah Nasruddin. In his village, he was the only man who could write. So people would come to him and want him to write a letter or some document or something. He was the man who could write. One day a man came, asked Mullah to write a letter. Whatsoever the man dictated, and it was a long letter, and the man said, please now read it, because I want to be sure that whatever I have said has been written, and I have not forgotten anything, and you have not missed anything. Mullah said, now it is difficult. I know how to write, but I do not know how to read it. And moreover, the letter is not addressed to me. Letter is not addressed to me, so it will be illegal for me to read it too. And the villager was convinced the idea was perfectly right. And the villager said, right, you are, it is not addressed to you. If you write on a white wall, even you yourself cannot read it. But if you write on a blackboard, it comes loud and clear. You can read it. The contrast is needed. The child is no contrast. He is silver lining without black cloud. Buddha is silver lining in the black cloud. In the day, there are stars in the sky, but you do not see them. They cannot disappear. They are already there. Whole day they are there, but you cannot see it. Only in the night you can see, because there is darkness. The stars appearing, the sun sets, and the stars start appearing. The sun goes deeper and deeper below the horizon. The more and more stars appearing on the horizon. They have been there whole day. But because of the darkness was missing, it was difficult for you to see them. A child has innocence but has no background. You cannot see it. You cannot read it. But it is. And it is not very loud. Buddha has lived his life, has done all that was needed, good and bad, has touched the polarity, has been a sinner and a saint. Remember, Buddha is not just a saint, he is a sinner. Saint and sinner both. And Buddhahood is beyond the saintlyhood and the sinnerhood. He has come back home. That is why Buddha said, there is no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path. There is no cognition, no knowledge, no attainment, no non-attainment. When Buddha became awakened, he was asked, what have you gained? And he laughed and said, I have not gained anything. I have only discovered that I have only discovered what has been the case. I have simply come back home. I have claimed that which has always been mine, but I missed it. I have only recognized it's not a discovery. Instead, it is rediscovery. And when you become Buddha, you will see the point. Nothing is gained by becoming Buddha. Suddenly you see that this has been your nature and you have come home. That's why it is paradise regained. Nothing new. But recognize this nature. You have been astray. You have to go through the deep turmoil of the world. You have to enter in all kinds of muddy places and spaces just to see your utter cleanliness, your purity. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.